What you doing, beloved?
Attention, attention, my black brothers. What I want y'all to do right now is take out the do-rag, the silky, tie it down. I want to see the waves glistening. If you got nappy hair, pick it. Don't let nobody discourage you.
Ariel.
Black boy.
All right, y'all. So do y'all think that you could introduce your partners to your family and friends if they've done like sex work? I had this question posed to me last night in one of those like Instagram chat rooms, and it was like the topic of discussion. So I wanted to know you all's thoughts about, introducing your partner to family and friends, and the conversation of sex work comes up. How would you interact?
And this is any kind of sex work, correct?
Yeah, Pat, it's OnlyFans, escorting, whatever the case may be. Like,
What do they
what's
call
your
it?
thoughts?
What do they call people who do massages? What is that called?
A masseuse?
Yeah, but like,
masseuse.
but when they like specifically get sexual, isn't there like a specific name for that one?
A hoe? No, I don't know.
Oh, damn. Okay.
I would just, I would just.
Erotic
I think it's the same
masseuse.
thing.
Okay,
Oh,
they do the
erotic
erotic. See,
massage, I
there
guess,
you
yeah.
go. I was like, I thought there's a difference. I feel like it would not be an issue for me. And it may not be something I say to my family like before they meet. Him or them, if their pronouns will be they, them. But I think eventually it would be something we would have a conversation about. I don't like if it's not going to affect my actually dating them, I don't think it'll be a problem for me to introduce them to my family. Like if I can't introduce someone to my family or I don't want to, then there's a chance I'm probably not going to be with them.
Yeah, I'm kind of like Derwin with that. I think if I don't see really like a public facing way of us being able to, go out there and be with each other, either you're going to be someone who I only see on the weekend, as SZA would say, or, or, we're just going to keep, you're just going to be my person of the night.
Seriously.
And there's
And
a
that's
space for
okay.
that. Yeah, and that's okay.
Some people don't think it is. I'm like, girl, if that is the itch that you need to scratch every Wednesday at 8 o'clock, then girl, you must got a mosquito bite. So
Consistency is important, and an amazing consistent partner in the night,
Yes, honey.
know what to do.
hard to come by. Hard to
I'm
come by.
just, I'm gonna just tell
know
my
it.
parents it's an entrepreneur, and that's all they need to know. They're an entrepreneur.
Not an
You ain't doing
entrepreneur,
their tax
he's a
write-offs.
businessman.
He's a businessman.
That's what we
And
used to call
listen,
all our dope dealers back
Yeah, I
in the
was
day.
just
Back
about
in the
to say that's what they
90s.
say about
okay.
drug dealers.
Also, like,
You know what? Let's bring that back.
listen, we do, and also like OnlyFans is actually you're a content creator. Like, I'm like, girl, everybody's a content
He's a
creator.
content
Like,
creator. Oh,
yes, where can I find it at? Now, if they ask, where can they
Age of
find?
content
He's
creation.
really
So
private. That's what you do. They're really private. They're an artist and they're sensitive about their and we just don't want.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm like, you don't get to know that yet.
I told my mama that I was like, look, don't be surprised if you see me up on OnlyFans because the money tight. And she was like, I mean, look, you gotta do what you gotta do. So I don't think there would be an issue if it was my boyfriend.
I don't know. I've done simulated sex as an actor with women,
Yes.
men,
Yes.
and I've also done like underwear. I've done underwear like
Yeah.
collabs or whatever, and modeled people's underwear and been nude. And I never told my mom on social media, but she always found it. Family too. So I
They
just let
find it if
y'all.
they want to find it. So I'm like,
Oh yeah, but my mom, she likes to comment like, "Don't get Yolanda." Like from Selena, that's what she does all the time.
Oh,
She
no.
gives people too much access. So my family equates nudity, I guess, to access.
Okay.
true.
I mean, there are some crazy people out there. So, they get a little taste child and they like, I own you. For whatever in their mind, they feel like they just have complete access to you all the time and then are entitled to it.
Just don't.
that's
tag
a
your
whole nother
location,
conversation.
People.
Be smart. Yes, be smart. Like, when you meet with people, do not. That's a whole nother conversation. What is up, everybody? It is your boy, Lord Devery.
And I'm Derwin King.
And welcome back to another episode of That Black Boy Joy, where we create a space where Black boys can be themselves and
So much more.
You all, we have a guest in the building with us. As you all have probably heard his voice, we have Justin Rayne in the building with us today. Just to give you all a little bit of a background, because of course Justin's going to give his own as well. Justin is an actor, model, podcaster, content creator, and host of Fuckboy Problems on all streaming platforms. You all need to check that out if you have not. We all have experienced some fuckboys, and we probably are fuckboys. So let's dive into that conversation with Justin and his guest. First of all, Justin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you guys so much for having me. I feel so honored. I feel so blessed. I think this is amazing. This just means you all have to come on season 3 of my podcast now.
Listen,
Yes.
we listen. We try to create a melting pot of like creatives. Like if we scratch your back, you scratch our back. Create that space because oftentimes we need it. So definitely, whenever season 3 comes around, you know where to hit us up at. We would love to talk about our fuckboy experiences and see where that goes. But we are so excited.
This relationship.
Yes, we are so excited to have you on. We're going to dive into your story and all of that stuff, and also relationships, because of course we all have been in some relationships that have been good, bad, and we don't know what the fuck. So we're going to, of course, dive into that. But Derwin, sorry, forgot the reason we are here. What does Black Boy Joy mean to you, and what has brought you joy today? Almost forgot.
Ooh, you want me to go first?
Yes, this question is for you because you're our guest.
All right, I feel so special.
I know that's right.
Okay. I guess Black Boy Joy now at this place where I'm at in life, it means to me pouring into yourself the things that you never had. It means manifesting the dreams that you thought couldn't come true. And it means believing in yourself when no one else does.
Period.
And I don't know. You said what
brought you joy today or this week?
What brought me joy today?
Yeah.
Or this week. I guess consistency. Consistency has brought me joy because I think as a content creator and I think as a person that is funding their own shit.
I know that's
for the people
right.
out there that don't know.
Let them know.
It is a battle. It is a battle. It is a battle to keep going, just like anybody else. And we're still in quarantine. So depression, all those different things, all those different battles come into play. So I think just finding the time to be consistent and finding the energy, I think even more so is a blessing because it's always easier to stay asleep than wake up at 6 a.m. But as I tell myself, Beyonce has the same 24 hours that you do. So get to moving, bitch.
Love to hear it.
True, because I think today I woke up at like 11, but that was because I was up late. So I was like,
give yourself grace now. That doesn't mean that I don't sleep in now, okay?
Right. No, I get that.
Grace.
Yeah. For me, what has brought me joy today or this week, I got to hang out with a friend that moved back home, and they are visiting this week, and we got to definitely do mani-pedis yesterday and just like revisit some conversations that we kind of left off really like unanswered. So I really appreciate coming, and I'm a very upfront in person type of guy. So I like to have my conversations fuck on the phone, fuck through text. I want to see you face to face. So I was able to like have that honest and genuine and transparent to my knowledge conversation with them. And I was like, I really appreciated the like level of like transparency that happened in it. So that really brought me joy. So I was like, ooh, that's one less thing I have to think about in this space that I'm in right now. Yeah.
For me, I guess for this week, because today was kind of anticlimactic. I got to hang out with the Impulse guys yesterday, my Impulse family. They gave me like a going away get together. And the girls were just, the girls were faded. But it was so fun. I enjoyed the hell out of myself. And then they gave me this dope ass goodie bag. And let me just tell the people, okay? If you get a chance, I'm trying to tell you, if you get a swag bag, a gift bag from Impulse, trust and believe you will not be disappointed because the way I am delighted. So I had a good time with them. And they gave me, I was going through the bag yesterday, and they gave me some things that are going to be very useful both for the drive down to New Orleans and then for my time while I'm there. So shout out to my Impulse family. I love you guys. And I will literally find any possible way to always be just involved with Impulse.
Yes, I'm glad that they did that. Yeah. Impulse is like everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
almost everywhere. There are some places that they need to be. There are only three primarily Black chapters, so hopefully we can get more of those.
Are you in Atlanta?
I am in DC.
You're in DC? Okay, so
Yes.
I was
So
Impulse New York City's Man of the Year in 2018. Yeah, so I got to host World Pride with the AIDS Healthcare Foundation with them. They're really amazing. I still do a lot of work with them and Pedro and stuff like the founder. So I am really, really Impulse advocate, no matter what coast, no matter what city.
yes,
Love that. I went to like a couple of parties and I just appreciate the like atmosphere that they create, and I just think that the conversations that are there is like you can turn up, but then also we're going to inform you. Like, don't think we're not
absolutely.
going to give you no information,
There is an
right?
advocacy piece, and I can always appreciate that. That was part of that was the reason I joined, was because I knew that we get that mixed experience, and that's something that is always going to be important to me, is both having a good time and also just like being an advocate for topics and themes that are important to me. And they recently started to really gear up on mental health, and that, as you know, is something I am super passionate about. So again, much love to Impulse.
Yes. Derwin, take it away with the spotlight.
Today's Black Boy Joy Spotlight goes out to Rob Milton, Black creative and soul singer. He's performed at our very own Howard Theater, as well as New York City's famed SOB's venue. His work has been featured on Insecure. As a matter of fact, if you go to his Twitter, you'll see Issa giving him his props, specifically for the voice and production, which I can attest to. Love it. He's also been featured on One Extra, Essence, and Complex magazine. He's the creator of the podcast Glow Up Rob, which features him interviewing and celebrating brilliant Black creatives. You should also check out his most recent EP, which is called All Boys Cry, and it can be found on Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Music, and iHeartRadio. Shout out to you, Rob Milton. Keep serving that Black boy magic.
And he just
I
had a
seen the
birthday
name.
this past week. Oh,
Yes.
Rob.
Come on, Rob. I listened to that EP and I was like, yes. Anything that says like all boys or like all boys don't cry and like all of that shit, I'm always like quick to like go to it and be like, what the fuck y'all giving? And I really enjoyed it. So shout out to Rob.
Yeah.
But y'all, before we go into our hot topics, we have, I want to like see if you all know things about some zodiac signs, about relationships and relationships. So I want to play a little game with our guest. And of course,
Relationship.
listen, I say
I like
relationships
that.
because sometimes with that, whatever you're in is not what you think it is. So
You need to
Got it.
put that on a hat or a shirt
You
or
know,
something. Y'all need to merch that.
I can't merch it, bitch, because I think I don't know. I'm gonna try. I'll patent that bitch for somebody else. I'm gonna do
Just do a good Google search. Do a good Google search.
But yeah, I'm gonna do that really quick. But I'm gonna give you all a brief description of zodiac signs in relationships, and I want you all to like guess which y'all think it is. These are, I don't want to say too challenging, but I'm just going to try to see how y'all feel off this first one. So the first one says, every single day with a blank will be different and filled with thrills, and they will make sure that their love will never be boring or average.
do I give my guess now or later?
Give your guess now.
Sagittarius.
Okay.
Aries.
Okay, the correct answer is an Aries.
Damn.
Correct answer is an Aries. And Devin, you should know because I'm an Aries, just to let you all know if y'all
My
have
man
not
is
listened.
Aries too. I know these. I hear all these all the
Period.
time. Yeah, my
You're
man is Aries.
very
So even though it's blanked out up here, I saw number two. Read number two, and I'm going to tell you that this is the reason I said Sagittarius.
It will be very difficult to get a blank to settle down, and they often favor open relationships. They adore change and they crave it in order to feel good about themselves. So being tied down is something that will only cause them to feel burdened and trapped.
Is that not a Sagittarius?
Mm.
Mm,
I will give
now,
you that. I will give you that because the one Sagittarius that I know, my ex-girlfriend Lindsay Johnson, and I'm gonna say her whole name.
Oh, Lord.
She was trifling.
Flighty. We can be flighty. The thing is,
She was trifling.
it is a Sagittarius, by the way.
What?
It is that answer. The answer is a Sagittarius.
Oh, there are 3 different ones?
The first one was the Aries. The second one was the Sagittarius one. That's your sign.
Oh, I didn't realize that they were all different.
Yeah,
Okay.
girl. That's how I numbered them. You're a
Girl, I thought
Sagittarius,
those were
right?
clues. Yes, I am.
Right. This is you.
My bad, Justin. I definitely fucked that up for you.
It didn't matter. We got a good story out of it.
And then the last one is blank are genuine, generous, and sincere. And if they tell you that they love you, you know that those words hold a lot of meaning to them.
Oh, no, that's fine.
This could be a few.
This is off whatever the fuck website I pulled this from. So these probably.
Oh, no. I'm going to give this one Capricorn or Leo.
I feel like it would have been a little bit more fiery if it were a Leo, because I'm
Yeah.
aware that they're also
go my
fire
first one.
signs. This one sounds a little softer. Read it again.
Okay. Blank are genuine, generous, and sincere. And if they tell you that they love you, you know that those words hold a lot of meaning to them. So Justin, you said a Leo and a Capricorn.
Well, I'm going
But
to
you're
remove Leo
leaning.
because now I think it could
Okay.
be an Aquarius.
Okay, so we got an Aquarius and a Cap up in this building.
Libra.
Libra.
Oh, Libra.
The final answer, you all, is Capricorn. So they're each one of
was
Shout
my
our.
out to
first guess.
Justin.
It was each of our
Damn.
zodiac signs.
Well,
So
I
all
only
of
thought
them.
that it was me from the beginning. That was my first guess, actually. I'm a Capricorn.
Yes.
My
Oh, I did
dad's
the
a
research.
Capricorn.
So I purposely did each of our zodiac signs to see if we would get those. So
Oh, well, I got
mine.
You did.
You
did.
did.
You definitely
You
got
said
yours, Derwin.
immediately.
I
So
was like, I know what this is, bitch.
I wanted to know if you all like felt like y'all zodiac signs were true to who y'all were in relationships, which we'll dive into during the show. But I wanted to like start that conversation early. But we're gonna jump right into our hot topics really quick, and we're gonna dive into what's going on in the world and what's going on around us. So to start it off, we found out that MJ Rodriguez from the hit show Pose makes history and becomes the first trans woman nominated in a leading acting category. And I was like, yes, finally. I'm like, that's
Well
very
deserved.
interesting.
Long
Very
overdue.
I agree. And so I think that there's something to be said about the fact that this was season 3, and the nominations just started rolling out at a time when our visibility is super strong right now, and I think Pose's work is largely, responsible for that. Not alone, but like played a huge part in that. And I think because the show was so new that first season, and then we were still in transition in the second one, they didn't get their nominations outside of Billy Porter. But we know that MJ was giving last season, and I really think she was giving that first one. So shout out to her for getting it this award season. But I do think that there's something to say about the delayed response having something to do with the climate that we're in and our visibility like just booming.
I think that white people sometimes just choose like to celebrate us when it's like convenient to them
Yeah.
and not really give us our praise. Like it's like we gotta do this one time, we gonna like praise this and then we gonna try to hopefully shut the fuck up, which is like no. Like that's
They did
not
that with the
case.
blacks.
Yeah, they do that a lot. So it's like, do it more. It's really, I need to do more. But shout out to MJ for getting that. I hope she actually wins. Like, it's great to get nominated, but to actually win, I'm like, oh. Do you think like again who she's up against? Do you all think that she has like a chance to take the crown?
I do. I need to go back and revisit that list. I think there were a couple people. Is Michaela Cole nominated in that category?
Oh, she was really good.
Oh my
that
God,
show.
I may destroy
It
you
did
with
a number. It did a number on me mentally.
Me too. I cried. Those last like 4 or 5 episodes got me sobbing each time. I almost had to take a break.
I
We
did
talked
take
about
a
that.
break. I can tell you, I did. As a friend, I had to take a mental break, call my therapist like
Mhm.
after the episode where her queer friend
Mm-hmm.
experienced that the hunching slash
Yep.
possible penetration. We didn't really like get like clarification, but there was enough gray room to understand that he didn't want it.
Yeah.
That was a lot for me. That
I
was
think
a
that's
lot
So
to just see it. I think the visuals, we've never seen these things.
no, go ahead,
What were we
Justin.
saying?
No, you go
Oh
ahead.
no, that was it. That's all I was saying. I just think we no, I just think we just have never seen like those images that they show, like especially with Black people. I
Yeah.
feel like we've seen a
Queer.
million different Lifetime movies, you know, about rape and you know things of that nature and sexual abuse, which is necessary and important. But I think seeing it so honest and so I guess like mimicking like the real life experiences, like you know, like Zola, like
Yeah.
that whole Twitter thing. It was just almost too close to home.
I
I guess that's the
agree.
best way to put it.
So
Got to
to
read
clear
the.
it up, Michaela was nominated an outstanding lead actress in a limited or anthology series or movie.
You
So
are specific like that. I
That
forgot
makes
that that's
sense.
specific.
yes, it is very
But that's
specific.
nice sometimes.
Journey. Journey is the one who was
Journey Smollett.
yes.
Oh,
And I
Yeah.
think
Lovecraft.
Uzo as well.
That was the
Those
next
are apples.
thing.
Those are apples and oranges.
I wanted y'all thoughts on Lovecraft not being picked back up by HBO. I wanted you all's thoughts about that. And
Well,
you
Justin,
know,
did you like it?
I did. I really, really, really liked it. I actually follow Maisha, who's the writer, the main
yes.
writer or whatever, and I saw like her season 2 ideas and I thought they were amazing. I think Lovecraft kind of fell into the place that what's the other show that Regina King was in?
Watchmen?
Watchmen, yes.
Watchmen. Okay.
I think it kind of fell into that space where sometimes, and Bridgerton does as well, these really high production, high cost,
Mhm.
like, you know, high cost shows. I
Yeah.
think it just kind of like fell into that space where, you know, unfortunately, with the time that we're in, there's a lot of like Black creation happening, but there's also a lot of anti-Black stuff happening behind the scenes. And I think it's easy to kill a show like that over the excuse of budget.
How long did Game of Thrones last? When did that show start?
But when you have, I think Game of Thrones, oh my gosh, how many seasons did it go? 7, 8?
That's a great question. I think like 7 or
That's
8, but I
good.
didn't. I never watched that show.
Oh, I loved Game of Thrones.
That was
She's
a
good
high budget
girl.
show.
Super high budget.
Yeah, so I thought that that was interesting. I realized that we, just were in a pandemic, but
8
I'm sure,
seasons, yeah.
yeah. Okay, so were we in the tail end of a recession when that show started?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
No,
Ah.
I totally agree with you. I think it's just excuses. I
It
think
is
it's honestly just
excuses.
excuses. I think it's just excuses. But I do believe Game of Thrones leaving was why we got the Watchmen show and why we got Lovecraft Country. I think it opened up a huge space in the budget. But I think also, I think they want to make, I think these like little series that come for like a few seasons and go away, I think that's like the new trend now.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Or
I'm
like
not gonna lie to you. I can appreciate that.
these kind
There's
of
a lot
one
of shows that
guns.
are these limited series. Because Underground on Amazon Prime, I believe, is a limited series as well.
Oh, Underground got canceled. They were trying to make that come back. Weren't they trying to
The
do
one that was just on Amazon.
No,
Underground
that's
You
Railroad.
Underground
talking about
Railroad.
Underground Railroad?
Yeah.
Oh,
See the
sorry,
names.
sorry.
See the names. Underground and the Underground
I'm
Railroad.
sorry, listeners.
Listen, no, it's
No,
okay.
that's fine. No, so Journey was in Underground. That was the one with her and
Yeah.
Aldous Hodge, I believe.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My girl was
That
in that
girl.
too, Ingenue.
Ingenue, she was.
First of
Ingenue
all,
Alexis.
cannot believe she did not get a nomination for the Clark sisters biopic. Like, so I totally
I should watch
understand.
it. Was it that good?
So whether the entire production was great or not is
My question.
totally irrelevant when we're talking about Ingenue and the performance that she gave, because
Mhm.
I mean, it really it brought it home for me that this is one of the most talented actresses I've ever seen. Her versatility is absolutely amazing, and her ability to get lost in these characters, it just never ceases to amaze me. So, if nothing else, I definitely think that she should have gotten an award for that. or a nomination for that. I mean, but she did get nominated for something, so I'm just
Yeah.
gonna leave it at that.
She was working during the pandemic. There was some like back-to-back
Hello?
shows dropping. I was like, wait, hold on, wait a minute.
Doing God's
But
work.
yeah, and then want to talk about really quick Manifest. I know I've been hearing a lot about the show on Netflix, Manifest, like getting
Didn't
a
it
lot
get
of
canceled?
traction. It got canceled, but it was like it came out, I want to say like in 2019 on ABC, but it started to like have that Netflix after effect, and a lot of people were like trending and like watching it. I want to know if you all like watched it. And Derwin.
What was that?
Okay, so I didn't watch it. I know what it's about though. It's the show about the plane crash survivors, right? Or the people on
Mm-hmm.
the plane crash and they like disappear, something like that.
Yeah.
Something to that extent. I
So
know the premise
yeah.
of it. I know I actually have a friend who just finished it, and they were talking about just recently. They were like, it had the Schitt's Creek effect, where it kind of like
Mm-hmm.
had that latent, like fan following, where it was kind of like
Yep.
after it was dead, we found it too late.
Mm.
Um, but no, I haven't watched. Heard great things about it. I'm sorry. I don't feel
Yeah.
bad if it ain't nothing black.
You know what? I totally
Period.
feel that because at this point, I feel like the
Because my
majority of
black
what I
shows
watch.
got canceled, so I'm not gonna feel bad for your white shows.
Sorry to that,
Seriously.
girl. Sorry
Because
to
they
that, girl.
got
No,
plenty. They get plenty of new shows. Like,
Hit every second, every new second, they get a new
no
damn
offense.
show.
I'm sorry. Like we tell the same story many times for them. Like
Yeah.
I wanted to know what was gonna happen on Watchmen. That girl ate that damn egg, and I want to know.
You
I
know,
need to
I was
watch that.
it's yes, HBO.
You should watch that.
Mhm. I will say just
Give it
briefly
time
plugging.
though. Give it time.
Well,
It take a minute. It's a slow burn.
it
I'm so
is a
tired of
very
these
slow
slow
burn.
starting shows. Oh my God. Every damn thing is just like the first two episodes are giving, and then the
It's
third
giving
episode is
slow
when it picks
burn,
up.
right?
Bitch, light that bitch up.
Can y'all come out the gate swinging, please?
Light that bitch up. No, really quickly, I love Gossip Girl. I love the second
The new
season.
one.
The new season, yes. It's back.
I'm watching this weekend.
HBO. I like it. People are very much comparing it to the last one. So, if you're a
I
fan.
haven't seen that, so I'm gonna watch this freshly. And the only reason why I'm gonna watch is because Victoria Monet's song is gonna be in the next episode.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yay.
I like it. I've watched it multiple times. So y'all check out Gossip Girl. I know I talked about that last episode, but Devin,
What?
go into
Oh.
No, I get so mad because I'm working on I know you offline, so that's the thing. Yes, go.
So,
You're on a social media hiatus.
you know it. You know
And
it.
so he got to do all the work and dig the information up.
No, I also keep saying his name, and I'm just like, but continue.
So, Real Housewives of Atlanta. As you guys know, I did not really participate in viewing the last season. I did watch the reunion, which gave exactly what I thought it was going to give. So they're actually having trouble with casting right now. Pretty sure that Cynthia's out. They also said they're pretty sure that Drew's not returning, but we'll see her in Portia's little sideshow that I refuse to watch. I like Portia, but I'm not about to sit and look at that. I never watch their sideshows. I never think that they're interesting. I think Candy's little ski trip was cute, but other than that, I'm
Nene
not
had
going
a
to sit
good.
up.
Nene's special was good.
Was that the wedding?
Yes, Nene's wedding special was good, but that's because Nene was just gonna but that was at the height of Nene being the center of the show. So
Correct.
it was just
Yeah.
kind of like the show it was like an extension of the show. It felt like you were still watching Real Housewives of Atlanta because you were watching it for her. So
Yeah.
you just got to see her continue on with her shenanigans.
Okay, I can take that. I'll probably go back and watch that anyway because I think I just saw like the last episode. I really enjoyed her dress in that. So there was talk at some point of light skin Keisha joining the cast of Real Housewives of Atlanta, which listen, no shade to VH1, right? But VH1's reality shows definitely have a tone that is very, specific to VH1, and that's
Hood,
fine.
ghetto, urban. Just funny. I'm sorry.
And Bravo has a different one. Like all of Bravo's Housewives shows they give the impression to their audience that it's like upper echelon people, right? And Atlanta has been the most relatable group of women. But one thing is that like they've always been people I think that it isn't difficult for us to see them as cast members of the show, with the exception of
Mhm.
Kim. She just never should
I
have
don't
come in the
even
first
think
place.
I don't think she was hard because everybody had that white friend like that. Like I feel like that made sense in
Fields.
the early 2000s. Like you all had like that white Fields.
Yes.
I was like,
I
oh,
love
okay.
Kim Fields, but she just didn't, it was like, girl, why you here? Why it was given why you're here.
Redacted. Never mind.
Yeah. But other than that, like, this cast usually makes sense. And I think this last season, they really tried at bringing LaToya on there. And I think talks of having light skin Keisha on there would have really just given love and hip hop. And that's not something I think the viewers of Real Housewives of Atlanta are looking to see. And with Potomac doing so well right now and not really crossing that barrier quite yet. Look, I know the fight happened last year, uh, but
It wasn't, but it was very. It was like a very upper echelon fight. It wasn't like really like what we saw on Love and Hip Hop with light skin Keisha. What was
Did
her
you
name?
see the
Tokyo
same
Vanity.
footage I saw? Somebody wrote a clip.
but Monique's gone, and they are
This
very
woman was
clear to
smashed. She
handle
hit
every
multiple
fight.
times.
Every fight on Bravo, they always make a point to tell us like this is unacceptable. This is not
It's
behavior
not
that we like.
okay. Yeah.
Whereas Love and Hip
There's
Hop
some
is like, we
resolution
gonna do that.
to the madness. There's some
Exactly.
resolution. There's some maturity about let's address that this was not appropriate.
Yeah.
And
Let's
that's
remove liability from the network.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, that is true. No, well, okay.
That's really what that exercise is about. But so I think the greater issue is the actual authenticity of the individuals on the networks.
Yeah.
I think for Bravo, you need to be established already in whatever you're doing, whether that be great, whether that be small. I think when you're looking for a housewife of Atlanta, you need to truly be a housewife of Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can kind of try to sugarcoat it the way Drew did, where she went and rented a home and she got a stylist real quick and she tried to do all this stuff, but Drew had all these other things that were in favor for her, as far as like her actually being, an actress that, was on a screen,
You've got a resume.
whether it be a short form or a long form, it was a resume of the sort. Yeah, and I think that is really the issue with the VH1, cast members versus Atlanta. I just think that if you really like looked at things, which with Bravo, there is a heavy like investigation. There's a psych check. There's all these things that you're gonna go through to verify the authenticity. That's the biggest hurdle. Actually, people don't understand. In Marlo's situation, she did not have a concrete enough like professional, like personal life overall, like picture that she could show on film that actually would look like, like what that would work. It's not that the network didn't want to show her. It's just that we gonna show sex work. Also, like, you don't want to show your sex work. You don't want to show how, okay, you're getting discounts like from the people who work at the stores and all this stuff, and they're pulling you pieces and then y'all running it back and all this stuff, like, in the night, putting it back in the store. Like, we can't show all of this. But now she has nephews and stuff, so you're a reasonable woman. You opened a storefront. She did the things that the people behind the scenes told her to do, because actually that's all she was told to do. The producer was like, okay, get some business about yourself, get an LLC, like look like a proper business person. It's not that you don't have all the pieces, you just need to put them together properly. The issue is that the people in Atlanta, you have falsified pieces, like just too false, ain't nothing real. Because in Atlanta, what they do, I mean, I have friends who work in production. Well, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, they just Airbnb like already furnished places. So a lot of these people, like Light Skin Keisha, all these different people, like it doesn't matter. You live how you want to live. I would love to rent a furnished place. If I was, gonna stay somewhere short term, like Cynthia, I think Cynthia would be the perfect person to jump like to Hop Coast and visit like Beverly Hills with Garcelle. She could be out there staying with Mike at her rented place or whatever, and she could be like her like little friend at the show. I think that's the perfect place for like Cynthia to transition.
I absolutely agree.
I think Cynthia honestly should be in talks with Bravo to try to be on Project Runway. I think she would be an amazing judge on Project Runway. Or some type of like modeling show or something.
Come on, she'll do production.
I'm trying to dream for myself. I don't have time to dream for other people. Not for free.
Yeah, that's right, Justin. I know that's the fuck right.
That's the typical. I ain't gotta give you
But
my.
yeah,
You got the
but yeah,
vision.
but no, just think those are the issues. I think Atlanta, the stuff is too falsified. And I get it. Like you want to give that look on TV, but I just think it's a different caliber. The people really got the money on Bravo, or most of the money,
Exactly. I think
or they
that's
can get
something I try
approved
to.
at least for the loan. Even if they might not pay it back, they can make the means to get the loan, which Drew showed us.
Yeah, she did. She got. I think she got a
She
house.
worked to the end of that season because that man was tired, and I believe he was tired because he was tired of trying to find a way to get the money to get that house for her.
Absolutely.
He moved right in the middle of the night.
But that was him trying to pay back for cheating on her. So I get it. And you know what? I would have done the same. Cheat on me all you want, but you can keep paying me back, bitch.
What about Eva? What about Eva?
I think Eva was real about her shit. She said, honey, I'm on the move. I'm moving from house to house. I'm running from place to place, you know, and she was straightforward about it. And she said, when I find somewhere where my money gonna sit,
I'm gonna let that sit.
And she didn't get no big ass house.
So this is true, but I think it had become such a topic about her finances for that season, and I didn't feel like she was
petty. That was just bullying. That was really just somebody you needed something to pick at. That was like, girl, we didn't. That season was just bad. We were just grasping at straws.
It was.
Yeah, I think it was also because Eva was like talking shit about people too. Like, so I think that was the thing. Like Eva was doing shit. I'm like, but your shit is not clean. So the fact that you're like being able to like talk shit about people and like talk about them behind their backs and joke like your shit is not clean. I think it was like easy target was like, or you're broke, you know?
That was it. And then you're in the middle of trying to get married, which I think whenever you're like getting married, whenever you have like big things happening and you have a spotlight on
and
your
kids.
And like all of that. I don't know. I just think like whenever you're like entering in, I think who's a great person that like entered in and just did like a really great job on the show. I don't know. I have to go back and think about people.
Candy did really well.
Candy had a really great entrance. I think Phaedra, she had a fairly good entrance. She came in pretty unscathed. Who was
pregnant?
5?
When she got there, was that her second season?
That was her second season.
She came in pretty unscathed. She didn't really have any drama.
She was just bougie. They was just like, why is she like this uppity church woman?
She had issue with Nene. That was the only thing. Nene played like she didn't know her, which I think I would have taken it. I would have loved because that was the only drama I had my first season.
It was easy, right? I mean, Cynthia didn't have much either when she joined, and they joined the same season.
Cynthia had her own relationship drama, her first season. Remember the wedding and the broke and the hidden marriage certificate. Like she had her own. Cynthia made that season with her own shit that was happening and she didn't even know was on camera.
She just was letting that camera roll, and she was just
shout out to Mallory, because I'm sure she was the one that orchestrated that shit. Shout out to Mallory, because she did the work, child.
But Cynthia was one of the early girls getting lace glued on, because Cynthia didn't have no hair, and that wig was getting glued on. That was a model.
She was showing y'all. She was like, "I'm a motto. I'm doing this right on camera."
She can pull a good wig, baby. She ushered in girl.
Hit or miss for my girl. It's hit or miss for her. Okay.
I don't think it's a hit or a miss because that bone stretch of that mug gonna do it. But
that face is always gonna do
it. She was a model. She came up in the years. They weren't taking care of their edges and all that stuff back then.
It was that Steve Chucky wig that I just cannot forgive her for. I literally cannot.
Oh yes, the little. But you know that was her real hair.
Wait, that was her real hair?
My jaw's on the floor.
Hair, permed and blown out. Yes. Yeah, remember when her hair would be like greased down, and she would have. Yeah, that was that same hair, that short hair. Yeah, that was.
What about that bob? A couple years later, the little brown bob. That was hers too, right?
I don't think that was her. She ain't never had no bob link hair now. I ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna tell her the truth. Cynthia ain't never had no bob link hair now.
I'm dead. Wait, premiere. Okay, Housewives of Potomac premiere.
Okay, so I wanted to know, Justin, did you watch that? Okay, so first of all, let me just leave. Okay,
Firebox.
I want to start
Firebox of the episode.
That's exactly what I want to talk about. So in DC, they had a premiere on Saturday. Actually, I think it was on. Yeah, it was on Saturday. So in the morning time, they had an 11 a.m. slot, and then they had a 5 p.m. So it was tea time. It was free. you went to this little boat. The ladies were there. They split the cast up. I had no idea. So Karen, Ashley,
I
Mia, and
saw
Wendy were
that.
at the first half, and then Candace, Giselle, Robin, and the new girl, the friend. I don't know
The
her name.
friend.
Asaka. She was.
Asaka.
They were all at the second part. So I asked because I was curious because they did photos and everything at the beginning. Were they present for the entire episode? Because I was like, I would have hated to be Giselle sitting in that room and watching someone talk about my fiery box. Apparently, they dipped
But she
out
was
like
talking shit too.
she was, but look, because Karen went on to keep saying it. That it was brought up on Watch What Happens Live, and then she talked about it on Wendy, which it hadn't happened yet, but I just wouldn't have wanted to be in the room looking at this like rehash of the things I went through that were super uncomfortable for me in front of all these people who probably don't even like a lot of those people don't
If
fucking like
you
her.
choose war, choose
You
war.
choose war. Like, I
Choose
don't get
war.
They step on
Be
their neck.
the Khaleesi.
Yes.
Stand on your own.
Nobody
Like
told me to go
regardless
hot
if you
bitch.
win every battle,
Fair enough.
stand tall. I'm sorry. I will stand in a room with fire around me. You won't see me shed a tear.
Bitch, I'm over
I
here
don't-
cool.
My own father kicked me out of the house at 16. I said, "You won't see me shed a tear." No.
right.
I cried in the bathroom.
Okay.
Put it together. Kirk Franklin Hero is a great album. It'll get you through.
I
But
second that.
yeah, but no, like I feel like my issue is, I feel like Giselle, you chose a war and started a war that maybe we didn't need, that maybe you also didn't think
It's not
about the
needed.
odds of you winning, that perhaps maybe a conversation or just like we can just agree to just like be cordial. Like that's honestly what it could have been, but I feel like this was just like misdirected rage.
Exactly.
Period.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
That's
Karen
like
did nothing to
I
her.
felt like it was misdirected rage, and now she is going to reap what she has sown, which I
Yes.
think Miss Karen also now has misdirected rage. Because Miss Karen is going to take everything that she was mad about and all these other things, and she's just going to keep going at Giselle, which Karen just sounds like, oh, yeah, what I like yelling on somebody's porch, but it's like Giselle don't have anything really going for her, and like her coming for Karen was unnecessary. So now everybody's taking like Karen's side, which I feel like it's just not. It's gonna be a rough season for Giselle if she does not mend or kind of like qualm this Karen thing. Because
Well, that's not gonna happen.
No, I think Karen. Yeah, I think Karen is like, no, I'm just gonna like talk shit about you every chance I can because I know now that I've got my fashions together. I've got my hair together. The fans the fans like Grand Dame Karen.
Yes,
so
we
now
do.
Karen is kind of on an upswing. Where like the fans like her level of shade. She's found out what works. She's staying in her little lane, and that's what Giselle was doing. Then you started getting all extra. So now.
Yeah, we was like, girl, get over it. You miserable bitch.
Yeah, and that's okay. But Karen is the center girl in the image, and you always know the girl in the center is the girl who's the queen of the season. She has the master edit. She's the queen, just like Kyle. Just like you always know the girl in the center. You have to study Bravo the way they edit. They send the message, and Karen knows it. Karen already was kind of like ascending into that space, and she really only needed Giselle to fuck up and really make a move. Once Giselle's Jamal situation had nothing but holes in it like Swiss cheese.
But they know each other, and that's why it matters. They have so much history. Because last season, Karen was like, when Giselle starts getting
pull
messy,
off of her, if Giselle will go and kiss the ring. If Giselle will go and kiss the ring, which I think Giselle's gonna kiss the ring because Giselle acts like she can handle it, but
she can't. She got her ass red for filth in the reunion.
Well, I think the shit's too personal. And I think the clip that we keep saying of like Karen being like, oh yeah, he did you dirty, da, da, da. I think that whole clip where Giselle's crying, I think they're putting two different times where Karen was being shady, but I think Karen's gonna actually be there for Giselle by the end because I think that's the smartest move. If you ever want to end a war with grace, you just unite your two nations. Yeah, like you can just be like, oh no, I bow down, like I'll just happily concede, and you comforted me, but let's just say you didn't beat me. I concede it. I just said, I feel like that's what it's gonna be. I think Giselle's gonna cry.
Come on, Justin.
And then they're gonna do that. Cause if you keep trying to do this war, baby, she ain't got no chance of winning. Because that's why she
Agreed.
brought in Mia. She brought this newly young girl to irritate her, which that's Karen's old move too. She do that every time. She
She
want to
does.
irritate Giselle. She bring a little young, hot,
Bringing
fast
another
ass
pretty
bitch.
girl in, and
But
Giselle
this
gonna be
girl, she not that
mad.
An
pretty.
ex.
She look like Lil Kim's big sister. Like Mia's not that great. Like
Mia's just
to
like,
tell me about how you worked on
yeah.
your clit, girl. I don't care.
She came in. I was like,
It felt so
well,
unnecessary.
to me, she didn't fit in, but she fit in. It was like,
I think she'll be a great addition in
yeah,
general.
I think
they
she's
all
gonna be comic
improved.
relief. I think she's gonna be the new
Yeah,
Katie. I think
I
she's gonna be the
agree.
new Katie. You remember
yeah,
how Katie just used to say dissy shit? Where the
yeah.
fuck is
It's
Katie?
because they're
I miss
improved.
her.
That's why
She's not
they're
well. She
improved.
cannot.
She's
It's
not.
Ashley was right when she said that, and I hated it. I hated that moment, and I hated that it was true.
Season 4.
That Katie is not mentally strong enough to be in that group of women. I think it's true. Katie is. She's got the quips. I love what she says to the women. She be getting
But
them
Katie is up
together.
and down.
She is. She's definitely bipolar. You
Yeah.
know what? Let me not diagnose her, but traits I've seen in people who are bipolar, I've seen in her, and in my own experience, I can, because that was something I think that's another reason why I like Katie is because I can really identify with her to
You can
some
see the
degree.
mental, yeah.
But it doesn't look like she was taking care of herself at the time, and so
Yeah.
naturally, I don't think she was stable enough to be on that cast.
She
But
she was so high up in this like very upper echelon society, and then we
yeah,
see her season 4, and she's like living on a farm, and like hair is just it was like a weird it was like a 180 that we were just like,
well, there were other things happening. There
yeah,
was
her
a custody
divorce,
battle,
yeah,
like, and the history between her and her ex-husband is just it is complete and utter turmoil. So I think that on top of her own like issues, a lot of it was actually external. There were things that were absolutely happening in her life that
yeah,
would have been too, I think they were too tense and too intense to be on camera,
yeah.
and that wouldn't have been something I would have wanted to share with the people at all. Not a custody battle, not even in the slightest.
I mean, even
Um,
her own. I think I honestly wouldn't want Katie on my TV with what happened in 2020 because I don't think her answers would have been that great for me. You know, sometimes
Yeah.
it's better just sit some people down so they don't disappoint you. And I just know Katie was gonna disappoint me. That's why I also don't want Ashley's opinion on what happened in 2020.
she tweeted something or she posted something on Instagram, Katie did, that really like disappointed me. And so, I forgive her now, but I
I
really
just
wish
want
she
to,
hadn't done it.
yeah, I just want you to stay in the box that I know you to be,
Yeah.
and I don't want to see all of who you are. Just let me see the parts that I'm comfortable with.
Last on this note of Real Housewives of Potomac, I wanted to say that I do appreciate that against Giselle, this alliance between Wendy and Karen, which is apparently still going strong today, has risen. And it seems to be a really interesting one. And I'm very interested to see how it will play out, considering the issues between Candace and Karen right now. And even though I'm sure production introduced Wendy,
Yeah.
it seemed like Candace was semi familiar with her when Wendy started last year.
Mm. I
Yeah,
think
that was interesting.
Wendy. I think Wendy and her glam squad are amazing. I think they're doing great stuff for African culture. I think I love an
Balance.
African queen shining. Um, I think Wendy. I think Wendy is doing the most with the least. But we knew that last season because that's who she is.
That is
She's
who
a
she is.
reacher.
She
She's a reacher
is.
and a climber.
That's
At
right.
that party, I was like, okay,
Mm,
a little nude party.
right. I was like, okay, this Ivy basement, not the Ivy part. Um, but like I appreciate it. I just think I just need her to go ahead and be like, I got my body done. I was having issues in my marriage and I was trying to be spicy, or I was trying to get my body back. I was trying to feel sexy and feel feminine. I just need you to like just do that and we can just one and done it and move on. But
Yes,
she's not. She's gonna be Wendy. She's gonna be extra and just do too much and think it's gonna be
Yeah.
cute. And she's
I
gonna do it
agree.
too long. I think Wendy is gonna try to align with Karen, but Karen actually has no respect for Wendy. So Karen is gonna only like I think Karen is just gonna like use Wendy and like deal with Wendy and like play friends with Wendy. I don't think they're really gonna like become friends because I think if Karen wanted to be friends with Wendy or wanted to like have that relationship, she would have done it all those years that she knew Wendy and she
Yeah.
didn't. So I don't think that that's the case. I just think Karen got tired of people picking on her for just blatantly not wanting to get to know that woman, which really she she could have been like, girl, I tried to get to know you and there was nothing that I was interested in, and that's it. Like, that's what she should have said. Like, I would have said that, like, we can just be cool. Like, we can just agree to be cool and like be co-workers. God. But
Yes, girl, we
yeah.
talk at the coffee. We talk at the coffee stand, girl. We talk at the water fountain.
Yes,
Like,
let's just keep it cute.
well, I'm
And
looking
Wendy's
forward
so
to this
dick
season.
hurt.
I
Yeah,
am too.
she is.
Shit,
I'm looking
oh,
forward to this
stop
season.
here.
I think this season is more interesting than what we got from Housewives of Atlanta. So I'm definitely tuning in to see what they
Easily.
offer. But we're gonna take a quick
Eddie.
breather. Oh, what's that?
I said Eddie. I'm so sad. But I know where smoke there's fire.
Oh, you know it. Oh, you know it.
Oh, well,
Know
like
it.
I know it now. I know it now. Once he was like, "Oh yeah, like you haven't had time for me, and like we're not satisfied." Oh, like now we know you busting it up in like Northeast. Like we just know what it is, you know?
He's going right down. He's going right down to Baltimore too. Don't play.
Not that 42 minutes to Baltimore.
Because they're like past. They're past.
Oh, they're at the
Baltimore, too.
Pennsylvania
They're all the way-
line.
Oh, they're all the way up there. They're nowhere.
Yes.
Northern
They're-
Maryland.
yes.
Oh
Girl.
no, ma'am, no ham, no
Child.
turkey.
They're,
I'm
you
trying
go
to tell you.
past. You go
Trying to
past.
tell you.
Well, I guess we're not that rich, bitch.
Yeah, they was just like, you far.
Literally,
I mean-
Wendy has a commute to work. And when I say work, I mean the Real Housewives of Potomac.
Yeah, she has to go into the city like an
Yeah,
hour,
that's a commute.
probably hour and 30
She
minutes.
must-
Robin, the closest to her.
But you know what? That's good time to yourself. That's good time to yourself.
That's-
She can grade papers. She's in the back of an Uber anyway. You know, because a lot of times
Production.
driving, that's lost time. Driving yourself is lost time.
Yeah.
So think about now. She has a whole hour. Baby, think about what she could accomplish with that hour commute.
I'm sick of you, yo. I'm so
What?
sick of you.
I'm
I
trying
didn't
to
think
think
about
about the
that.
positives. Yes, like I would actually like live for that commute. Turn that into a positive, Wendy.
She could work on some shit.
She
in that
could
damn
she
hour
could
and a
actually
half.
Glam could meet her at her house. They get into the car.
Do it the whole
Bam,
ride.
baby. Right. There are multiple.
I'm
benefits to
instigator.
this
You know I'm
commute.
instigating too. I'm like, and they could do it in the car, and they can put her makeup
Now
on. She can
see,
get some food.
now y'all doing too
Please.
much. I don't think she should be eating now. I think eating was the issue. She can't eat. She just got her body done. She need to be eating salad. She cannot be eating like traditional African cuisine. Rice is a huge part. Carbs are a huge part of African cuisine.
I can't believe that
Rice.
wasn't going to her ass all that
Jollof
time.
Jollof rice is the shit, right?
Wendy
I
said
love
she
me
did
some
not have
jollof
one
rice.
before, and then they showed the picture.
I mean, not a butt to be saying. And girl, you gonna be trying to tell us this lie. And Wendy, and when you was on TV, and Wendy put it out. That's why I was like, girl, you might as well just go on up there and be like, Wendy, look at my new ass. That's what I would have to do, because you did not just embarrass me like this on national TV. But see, I would think about them lies before I told them. I want to stand up there
Honestly.
with whole liposuction incision mark. You can see the fucking pin marks,
And
when
it was
she
obvious.
opened
It was
her
so
top,
obvious.
and you
Yeah, I
can
was like
see-
BBL.
You can,
Yeah.
but you can see the marks. You can see the markings from
They-
where
production
she
did
just
that on
came in from her
purpose.
1 week post op. Like, why would
Production.
you lie like that? And then, girl, and then
I
I'm
got some
not
few other
lying
things.
with a camera in the
Girl.
room. I'm not lying with a camera in the room.
You look dumb.
And you know, I definitely think she got fillers in the cheek and chin. I know that she got fillers in the cheek.
No, she had her whole nose reconstructed with fillers.
Mm-hmm.
She did the same thing K Michelle does. What K Michelle does, so she gives what they call a liquid nose job. Basically, they use fillers and like cosmetic injectables to non-surgically reshape your face or reshape your nose.
It's not permanent. It's
No.
No, it's not permanent.
They'll fade.
So
You have to
you'll
get them
see-
redone.
So that's also why kind of like the face shape will be inconsistent. It's the same thing that Khloe Kardashian suffers from, why her nose always seems to change shape, because every time you cannot guarantee the exact same result.
She just needs to
know
get it
what?
done permanently. Justin is like going in right now. Like it wasn't.
No, the last one. No, this new nose is is like a real nose job. But
Okay.
previously that was the issue. But that's also why you guys were like, oh wow,
Yeah,
because it was a real nose job this time. But yeah. All the
Well, we're
best.
about to get right into you, Justin. So let's take a break, y'all. Let's breathe. Let's collect ourselves. We're gonna take a 5-second pause on here. Everybody can, get y'all something to drink in their minds, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right, you all. We're gonna get into the reason we are here today, the meat and potatoes, the special, the highlight of today. Justin, we're gonna ask you a lot of questions. We want our listeners and our viewers to get to know you. So, like I said, if you have questions for us, please ask us. But we are definitely here for you to, talk about yourself and things like that. So, first of all, tell the listeners who you are. And this is also your perfect time to brag about all your accolades and credentials. So please give it to the
Oh.
girls.
You know it. You know it.
Do it.
Well, I am Justin Rayne. I currently live in Orange County, California. Let's see. I ain't telling y'all. Well, I guess forget it. I'm 30 years old. I'm an actor, model, podcaster, content creator, entrepreneur, all those great things. Um, in the daytime, I actually create digital content I help big businesses create digital content. I previously just left a job at Chipotle. So everything you all used to see on Chipotle.com and the app, all the beautiful visuals, I would lead a team of graphic designers and stuff. Yeah. And writers who put
Wow.
that together. Yeah. So I help
Amazing.
come up with slogans, all the digital experiences. I help come up with digital experiences, basically. Um,
That's
as
so
far
great.
as like me and what I do, um, oh my gosh, I feel like the highlights of my life have been Keeping Love a Secret. A lot of people know me from that. Keeping Love a Secret is a short film that YouTube Red actually cleared. It actually started out as just like a regular film, but YouTube Red bought it with YBN Entertainment or Nunu, and that's really good. It's got like 2 million views. Definitely check that out. It has a volume 1 and a volume 2.
Yes.
Let's see. I mean, you got a lot of people know me from Triangle, the web series,
That girl's
infamous
that
web
girl's
series,
been running for a while, honey.
infamous
She's
baby,
long
infamous.
running.
Hey, I mean, but hey, it says a lot if you could have that many seasons and keep going. So definitely
Mm-hmm.
shout out to Caesar and BRTV TV Entertainment. That role actually is what kind of like catapulted like my adult, I guess, like getting back into entertainment and acting and all of that. That role was actually kind of like the role that kind of started it all back off for me. From there, I mean, I recently did a short film, which I don't know if it was that short. It was called Party and Play. It's
We
a
saw
horror
it.
comedy
Shout out
that
to
is really, really
Samson.
funny with Samson McCormick.
We
He
Mm-hmm.
love
wrote
them.
and starred in it with me, and that is really, really fun. If you all love Beyonce, I mean, love Miss
Yep.
Giselle, I mean,
Yep.
9481,
Yep.
then I think you guys would really, really love this movie. Like I said, it's a horror comedy, so it's kind of like scary movie. I mean, it really is
Mm-hmm.
like that. The whole idea of kind of like if when being a Beyonce stan goes bad, basically. Uh, can you love Beyonce too much? I don't know. Um, and then I have my podcast, Fuckboy Problems, which I mean, it really is that we talk about fuckboy problems. I was inspired by Issa and Insecure, actually. So you know how like each episode is called Hella This, Hella That. Each
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
episode is all based around kind of like a pun or a type of person you will meet. So Mr. Plant Daddy, you guys know what plant daddies are. So Mr. Plant
Oh,
Daddy, that was a guy
child.
who kept
Most
his plant.
recent.
Right, that was very recent. That was a mess. A guy who kept his plants in his bathroom and in his shower and decided he would rather forego hygiene, personal hygiene, for his plants. Mr. AARP, that's the older guy. Mr. Over and
Uh,
Over and Through the Woods, that's a
Girl,
long
these creative
distance
ass names.
relationship. Mr. Can't Keep It Up. That's probably like the biggest part, but I really try to like be inspired by these creators out there, and I want to share that for people. Like Issa Rae, all these people, you can YouTube like their creative workshops. You can YouTube like how they do, you know, how they create and how they ideate. So for me, a huge part of how I create, like I actually come up with most of my stuff in my sleep. So I have to like wake up and like write it down or wake up and just like remember because I dream in color. So I'll see it all kind of play out and then I just have to go back and like regurgitate it off from my mind. But I whiteboard it all. I make a huge list of what kind of story and what kind of experience I want the listeners to have. And season 2 was really a love letter to my growth. I think season 1, of Fuckboy Problems, like it was about me not wanting to be a fuckboy anymore. That's why I don't be a player no more. Like it's a theme song because I
I
didn't
really
want to be a
love that.
fuckboy anymore. And I wanted to grow past this whole like, okay, you don't get what you want, so you react and you cheat, or you react and you sleep with someone else. So this situation is going on in your life, and you're making this choice that is self-sabotaging and not helping you in any way. Season 2 was about, okay, you know now what not to do. Are you going to
Yeah.
do it? So it was really about me like walking the walk and talking the talk, and through my change and through my growth, the stories changed. And hopefully, if you guys listen and check it out, the stories got deeper. The people, the messages, the conversations got deeper. We always try to pair a playlist and a psychology tip and things like that to each episode, because some people heal sonically. For me, when I'm going through things, I'm never
Yeah.
gonna tell anyone. But if you go and look up my Apple Music or go and look up my Spotify, my friends, they always know to like follow my music because they want to see what I'm listening to, because you can tell what I'm going through. But I mean, some people really heal like that, and some people are silent
They
sufferers.
do.
So
Yeah.
it was really important for me to want to do that, and also like give people something. Okay, if the only thing you have this week is one word and one definition and one positive thing that can help you that you need to repeat to yourself every morning, then do that. And let it be the word consistency. Hey, for me, sometimes it's just, hey, be consistent, bitch. But yes,
First of all, the
consistency is so
skin.
hard.
Yeah,
Can we
you're
like
beautiful.
your skin?
Yes, I
We
guess I
can't.
can
You
give
don't
y'all
forget
an
that. Yeah.
exclusive. Do y'all want an exclusive?
Oh, if you want, I mean, since you begging, I
Okay.
mean,
Not begging, all right.
Let a bitch know.
But no, so I'm actually launching my own YouTube channel at the end of this week or early next week. So you guys will able to have the whole Justin Rayne experience. So it's gonna be all about skincare, it's gonna be all about style, grooming.
Yes.
I'll probably do food because I just love food. You guys get workouts, the boyfriend Q&A, all this kind of crazy stuff. But I'm gonna be teaching people like the ins and out of skin, like how I learned about skincare, how to create your own skincare routine. If you want a big, bad, and bougie skincare routine like me, I have like 30 steps at night. It's too much.
Oh,
But also, you can do a quick 15-minute one that is 4 steps.
yes.
Right now, if you go and follow me on TikTok at Justin Rayne, I have a really cool TikTok to Thought Shit by Megan Thee Stallion, and you guys will see it. It's like the second or third video or whatever. If you comment on that and follow me, you can win actually all those products. I partnered with Target to give away
Come on.
a full skincare routine, so you can actually get products that I've handpicked and get free shit. Yeah, so you have between now and July 21st.
You
Yeah.
working. That's
Working,
what we
working,
love a
working, working,
work. We love a
working.
worker girl. You know, never a
Working,
dull
working,
moment.
working. And when my YouTube channel launches, I'll be giving away $30 every month to a subscriber. So definitely subscribe to my channel.
I
Yeah,
know
so I'll be
that's
giving away
right.
$30, and I'll be giving away skincare like prize packages every month with different brands that I'll be partnering with, like Bliss Cosmetics, Neutrogena, all that. So I have a bunch of like partnerships with brands already, and I'm just gonna be like releasing them through my YouTube channel. So it's been a lot of work behind the scenes that I've been doing. So
I'm
that's why I've
like
been really
it.
quiet, and now
Yes.
I'm ready to kind of like show it all. There's a whole like video shoot and photo shoot everybody will see for like the YouTube channel. Yeah, and with the podcast, season 3 is coming. That's my last little thing, and I'm gonna shut the fuck up. Season 3,
We told you
so
to
many
brag.
so many spinning plates, bitch. So many spinning plates. Y'all be thinking like, okay, the bitch is tired, but I'm tired.
Now, for real.
Right. Um, the podcast is gonna be coming right now. I've decided it's gonna be coming by the end of at the end of September. It's season 3 will be out. Season 3 is all based around Atlanta. So what I do is I pick a city each time. I want it to be like an LGBTQ hub, kind of like I was inspired by Impulse.
Yes.
But yeah, so you don't have to live in Atlanta, but we try to find as many stories as we can, and the majority be based around Atlanta. And it's a whole 90s heartthrob futurama. So
Yes.
I
let
heard.
me
We
just tell
absolutely
you
did.
all right now, when the social media shifts, when it shifts, every time there's a new thing. So like every time you see the podcast, it's a different feeling. So the colors were very bubblegum, very California. This season, next time it's all Think Like Genuine's 100% album.
Okay,
Think
competition.
TLC Crazy Sexy Cool. So that's what you'll be feeling, kind of like Ungodly Hour if it went gay.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so
It's the
it'll be
visuals.
yeah,
I'm
so
like,
the
I'm able
visual,
to get
yeah,
it.
so I really create, so I really believe in the visuals. I think visuals are cool, and what I try to do with like the looks and everything, I try to show you different kind of guys you will meet. So like, yeah, so I try to make the outfits, my different kind of guys you will meet, different type of people. So everything this season is custom. So everything this season means I'm not eating until September 30th. But
Bitch, I could.
yeah.
Listen. I know about that diet.
A new waist trainer just came in from what waist, and
Waist
I'm like, bitch, I
trainers.
can't. Yes, oh my god. But enough about that, and now let's get to the questions. Oh yeah,
Oh
and we
my
will have
god. No.
merch, and I'm gonna have products coming out soon, skincare products you guys can get. So lots and lots
I-
of crazy fun
You
stuff.
like
Stay
hit a lot
tuned.
of questions that we were going to ask,
You
so we're just
really
going to have some
did. Oh my
follow ups.
gosh.
I'm looking at my notes and I'm just like, girl, you already hit the point on the nail what we was gonna do. But I do want to talk about, the reason that you started Fuckboy Problems. I know in your
Mm-hmm.
season 2 finale, you talked about the show came from a conversation or a space where you were figuring out your identity, and then a conversation of like self-control and self-sabotage. And I wanted to know, like, have since the wrapping of like your season 2 finale, has that, those themes affected how you've moved like throughout everything else in your life right now?
Yeah, so by the season finale, I will say, so I moved from New York City to California in September 2019.
Mhm.
So, um, I was just wrapping season, I was just wrapping season one at that time, and I was just kind of, I was ending a relationship, like I said on the podcast. I was in a relationship. So we in a relationship. I think it just kind of like, it's kind of like a bomb in your life. It kind of like sets off
Yeah.
a bomb in your life, and you're just kind of like sitting there with like the remnants of like, like this whole like explosion. And I think it takes a while to kind of try to like clean all that up and put all the pieces together. And but what I did already have was like a garner or a good grasp on what I didn't want my life to be,
Yeah.
what choices I didn't want to make. So going into season two, self control really wasn't the issue. The issue was more so self sabotage,
Mm,
and also knowing how to see self sabotage before I do it. So saying, okay,
Yeah.
are you doing this because you really feel this? Are you doing this because you really want this? Are you doing this because you are afraid of doing the latter? Are you doing this because, okay, like, do I need to go out and party when I know I need to do this thing at 6 a.m. when I haven't partied in 3 months?
That's a
And
chunk.
I
That's a chunk.
said all day
Tough
that I
one.
was tired, or I didn't really feel like it. But then all of a sudden, I started getting anxious when I started thinking about this thing that I needed to do.
okay.
Mhm.
Right? Because that's kind of how it happens. You feel anxious. It's just like, so now you want to do everything else but the thing that you owe to yourself.
Yeah.
So then that's when my mindset changed. All these things are for yourself, and other people can think it's selfish. You can do whatever, but what I
Yeah.
will say is the greatest lesson I learned was to tie all this shit back to myself. These are
Mm,
gifts to myself. Every episode I release, every project I complete, everything I check off my to-do list is a gift to me,
mm,
because this is something that I'm pouring into myself. You don't like your situation, you don't like how much money you make, you want to be able to do this full time, whatever. These are love letters to myself every time I do something. And once I retrained and restructured my mental about all these things, this is not sacrifice of my time. This is something I
Yeah.
want to be doing. And that doesn't mean I don't always have the energy, like to your point or whatever, Devery. Like, yeah, you have to give yourself grace too. Burnout is a thing. I'm not
Mm.
afforded the opportunity to not have a to be able to do this full time. So I
Yeah.
have a job, and the combination of those two means sometimes I don't have the energy. But yeah, just being able to see those things and being able to kind of stop it when I can. That doesn't mean I always do, but by the end of season two, I felt whole, and I think the stories that we were telling were whole and they were nuanced. And actually, season two, I wanted to tell those stories in season one, but I don't believe I was ready to
mm.
be able to have those conversations with those people. And I just
Yeah.
feel so blessed because it's growing and it's climbing. So I'm so excited for the people in season three, because halfway through season two, season three people were already lining up. So it's just crazy.
That's a good feeling to have too. Um, So, do
My
you?
headphones are sorry. My headphones are like disconnecting and connecting. So go, Devin.
I
Derwin.
wanted to. I'm also an actor, so this question is really important to me.
Mm-hmm.
How did you know that you wanted to be an actor?
Oh my gosh. When you get on that stage, you perform, or when you host something
Mm-hmm.
and you just like know what to do, or like you can
Mm,
just turn it on at
mm,
all times. And other people don't get that. When you're a performer or you're a person who, really love, you're an artist and you really, like love your art. There's something about that one piece that will never get old. There's something about, okay, like that whole, the preparation, the energy, the giving, all of that, the studying. I took an acting class where I was in a conservatory right before I moved out here, and one of the courses, we did like a 6-week course where it was sitting on your hands. That was the name of the class, sitting on your hands. And I was like, huh? And you had to perform all your monologues and all your scenes sitting on your hands. But it's like, who would look forward to your hands being numb, your feet, like your legs being tired, all of that? Best class of my life, because all you got to do was sit on stage and perform things. And I think, like, yeah, like that was a moment I knew when, like, when I would go to sleep, when I would crave it, when I would be tired, but then I would be coming from work and I would be like driving from Jersey all the way back into New York City to host something from Impulse for an hour and a half for no pay, but just because I knew like there was gonna be no greater high than that feeling.
yes. Yes. Okay. I definitely identify with that experience. It's really
Yeah.
amazing the gratification you get out of doing these productions, and you will travel far to do some shit that you're either not going to get paid for, or you're going to be underpaid for. You know what?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the first time I've heard someone say that, because I literally do.
Derwin
Well, you
does
have to,
that.
and well, I want to say that so that I think now there's a thing growing, and there's a generational kind of like thing where it's like you want to be paid for everything and you want to do the least, or you
Yeah.
want to like be paid
Yeah.
the most and do the least. And I think like people have to be like, and everybody wants to stunt. I'm so tired of motherfuckers stunting.
Come
Like,
on.
stop stunting
Like,
like you're making this.
girl.
Stop stunting like you're doing that. Stop stunting like this gig gave you this when it didn't. Stop stunting like they sent you that you bought it. Like, girl, like, let's be fucking real. Like, like, because, it takes time to build and it takes time to get to those things. And it takes away from the people who actually work to get to it. And it also creates this false idea of what the journey is, and the
Yeah.
journey is not that. And constantly, as an entertainer, constantly as an actor, me and Kyle Price, we were talking about this and encouraging each other on social media and talk about it, and we didn't have to say a lot about it, but
Shout out to KP. First love
yeah,
at first night.
KP,
So
shout out to
yeah.
KP. But you know, this shit is not easy and it's not for the faint of heart, and it takes years. Some people who like blow up viral or whatever, you don't have the practice, you don't have the thing, and sometimes it works out for them great. But what I will say is, yeah, you got to show the whole journey,
Yeah.
Yes.
and this is a part of it, and you have to do certain things that that maybe you don't get paid what you think you should
Yeah.
get paid for.
Right.
That is
And
true.
and of course you draw the line at some point. Like at some point
Oh
you realize,
yeah.
okay, I'm at the point where I don't have to do this anymore. Even if you honor like the opportunities that are more meaningful every now and again. But I think you're absolutely right
Yeah.
about that.
Also, I appreciate also the way that you're able to reflect in every instance that you're in and always be able to bring that back to how you can grow. I think that oftentimes a lot of us go through phases or go through motions and not really be able to bring that back to why it is happening or like how it is affecting me and how are these effects, carrying on throughout my life. So I love that how you're able to think about that also when you're in like acting and understanding that also when you were doing the show is not just for you to have guests on for them to talk about their experiences. It's also for you to acknowledge and confront your fuckboy tendencies or the fuckboys that you've
Hmm.
encountered. And I also want to know, like, has that like helped you like have more of an authentic life when you're
Hell
like navigating these
yeah.
conversations?
I be sitting there like, bitch, go ahead. Because the thing is, so I feel like as you go through life, you be knowing when you can start to see when shit gonna go left.
You know it.
Yeah.
You start to know. I feel like after so many experiences, like, I'm not saying there are limited experiences in life, but I will say
No.
that you should start to get smart. to some stuff, you start being able to peep the scene. So it's kind of like, yeah, you also have to learn. I think a cool thing, I don't want to say Beyonce said it, but in my mind, I always hear
Beyonce is
voice
the
when I
the
say it.
icon.
I always hear Beyonce's voice when I say it. You have to control what you allow. I always tell people, I control what I allow access to and who I allow to have access to me. And I think you also had, and my ex, they will always say that. They would be like, you know, you give too much access. You give too much access. This is you say it like that. And you know, at the time, like I was younger and I was like bothered by that. I was like, what do you mean? But like the core of that still, I guess, is kind of true, where it's like, okay, like he was speaking in a very specific way, but no, you don't have to give access to, okay, all these people kind of like, oh, you replying to my story, you doing this, you know, you can let them things be that. At the end of the day, the hype can just be the hype.
Yeah.
The cute can just feel, you can just feel cute, babes. You can just feel cute. Whatever the picture was, whatever the thing was, whatever it is, let the validation be in that box. How about that? How about that? What if the validation just stayed there and you didn't have to make it a whole thing? Because did it need to be? Because okay, you've been satisfied. Yeah. Were you feeling down? Whatever. Or did that compliment pick you up? Okay, it picked you up. It stops there.
But I think we live in this mindset that we have to show people like, aha, like I have this, or like, look at what people are saying about me, because that may be something that they're dealing with, right? There may be some internal stuff. Like I have to show you all that people want me, you know, people are vying for me. And it's like, girl, if they vying for you in your private DMs, like that's something that you need to figure out why you need to, you know, we need to all have access to that. But that conversation of people having too much access to you is really in my head right now, because I think that's something that I battle with.
Really hard about that.
Yeah.
I work really hard on not feeling like I owe people answers. I work really hard on like explaining and giving people over explaining myself. I work really hard at not doing that. I work really hard at like at honoring people's time. I feel like big or small, whatever, like you are like, hey, this day, you're gonna be on my calendar. I'm not gonna try to remember it in my phone. I'm not gonna pencil it somewhere in my notes section. Like I think those things are conscious efforts. And I think with the whole like wanting people to see that you're validated, that's just you being ready to do the work for you. When you want to just be happy with that and be good with it, you'll be good. When you want to make everything else contingent on other people and external sources, then that will be how you live and die. But you also will cry when you don't get enough likes, like I have done. You will cry when when this person be like, oh, you gaining weight, your face, like I have done. I hadn't had a whole person tell me like, oh, you need to start showing more skin. Last summer or like a year and a half ago, I started making a commitment to try to like shift my narrative and shift how I was showing myself. And I had fans who would comment and be like, oh, like I wish you would do this more, show this more. You know, like these
it's the consumerism. They feel like they own you.
Yeah, well, it's like, and I was like, okay. And I was like, but the thing was, you still know I have body. You can still see my body in my clothes. Like I'm not a small guy.
Right.
Like you still see my arms. Like I still take pictures in the tank. You still will see me shirtless from time to time. The thing is, like, that's not the core of what I want to be.
Yeah.
That is not the end of my journey. Like I am evolving now, like Sailor Moon. Did you want her to only have one form? Did you only want did you not only have one form?
Bitch,
like,
I gotta level up.
I want a sequel. I wanted wings. I wanted the cute little extra band around.
The wings cup
on my skirt. Like, girl, I want to level up too. Like I just don't want to save Earth. I want to save the universe. I want to save all the planets. Damn, let me be great. Gosh, fans.
That's a great thing for the Instagram.
But that's essentially like what I tell people now. Like, don't let people put you in that box. But if you want to be that box, then get beat up like a box.
Ooh.
In the vein like that.
In the vein of switching to the theme of your podcast, I want to get into more relationship and romance things. So one of the first questions we have now is very specific to your experience. Do you feel that the Libra you met in your life helped you learn about your authentic self?
Because that Libra girl.
That Libra was a beautiful individual in a lot of ways. but in other ways, a Libra was a succubus. Well, no, I think. Hold on, I want to focus on the question. I got
So let
triggered.
me go back.
But no, yes, I think I just think the Libra allowed me, yeah, I think the Libra allowed me to see that just being really transparent, like I got to share all the cool things that I like to do. And in between the Libra, like, so I had a fuck buddy, and my fuck buddy, like, we actually had like fallen for each other, but it was just
Bro,
kind of
that's
like,
oh,
but the thing was, it was the most organic way to like have feelings for each other, because they would just visit me at night. And actually, you all don't know it, but one of the stories in the show is like an Easter egg. One of the stories in the show is actually like, some of the stories sometimes are my stories, and I like Easter egg them. Like, so like
intentions.
yeah, so like one of the stories in the show or whatever, but like yeah, like we had came feelings for each other, but they just were like coming to visit. Like, they would come at night when they got off work. They were a bartender in the city, and they worked really late at the 4040 Club. If you know where that is, it's like Jay-Z's club. So like, it was like very tight, very hard to get in, but it, like, they would work late, so they would just take an Uber all the way from like downtown to like Brooklyn to visit me when I lived in Brooklyn. That's the time mark. That's why it's the Easter egg, because only a few people could know the time mark. Because I only lived in Brooklyn for a very certain period of time.
Right.
I know what I'm doing.
Let me
But
go
when
back.
Hold
on.
But when I do that stuff, I do that so that the people that do know can make the connections. I know what the
Very
fuck I'm doing.
intentional. Very Marvel. Very
It's called
Marvel.
It's called petty, actually. But but no, I just say all this to say, yeah, I think they taught me about authenticity. I think, but I already was kind of on this journey, I said, with the fuck buddy, to where I was saying, if you could be yourself around people, because with the fuck buddy, we would watch Sailor Moon, we would watch Harry Potter, we would kind of like do these things up with my ex. They just didn't like engage. They just kind of were like, this version of myself that they met on this day, this is the version that they knew, and this is who it was. So like I said, they told you they didn't like Justin Rayne, but you don't really know what you don't like about Justin Rayne. You just don't like that it's different from the version that you don't. You just don't like that other people can have me in a way that you feel like you don't. But are you engaging and trying to get to know me? Are you engaging and really like am I doing what I need to do to allow for us to engage with each other, which actually it would be my fault. Because if you hadn't cheated, this person would have closed off, and maybe that's why they didn't want to get to know you. Maybe that's why they didn't want to let you in. So you gotta look at yourself too.
I also want to go into this conversation about communication. I think that is very vital, and I think that is very important in relationships. However, that is always at the core of why we dissolve in spaces, because it's either we didn't communicate that we weren't in the space of happiness right now, we didn't communicate the infidelity, like, all of that stuff. So do you think that, or do you all think that communication has to be already instilled in a relationship? I mean, instilled before you get into a relationship, or it can be taught throughout the relationship?
I think it depends. I think I am learning, and my opinion changes, but I think it's about your skill in communication, not necessarily your communication, because you can put two different communication styles together, you can make it work, right? But I don't always believe that if I'm here and I communicate on this level, like the way I communicate now is very different than I did 3 years ago. But that's with therapy, that's with tools, that's with emotional maturity, that's with emotional intelligence now. Being able to pull those words, and those now new experiences, like all these things are in my toolkit now. So I don't believe sometimes you can take one person with one toolkit and one set of tools, and then bring them over, and they're like over here with a master's degree in this shit, and then try to put this person with a GED.
They doors double bolted. The one I was dating didn't even have it. They had like a little. You're like, God damn it!
Not this person thing.
Right? This person double bolted, but my ex was over had like a little. I get
just
it.
A little
it's
latch. Damn.
Right?
Come on, not a latch. Ooh. Latch had a hold on our community too. What was that? 2014 Latch? That was a good song in the song. Latch. I'm trying to tell you, it had a chokehold on the queers. It had a chokehold on the girls.
It did, but I like that.
That was the song of the summer. But that sometimes is a little hard because you're here and you're able to go into conversations and go into things with such depth and breadth that this person may be limited, and sometimes that creates frustration, at least in relationships with men. Now, women, you already know that they got master's degree in everything. Women just superior. I am a feminist. I believe, women are God's gift, queens, goddesses, all the stuff.
We love women.
Shalom, all the great stuff. But yeah, I just think I believe men's emotional age, and I heard this, it's like half their age plus 7, or half their age plus 5 or something. And I firmly believe that. And it's a lot of work. And I think it's great to have a man that wants to do the work. I no longer will ever tell someone to be with a man that doesn't want to volunteer to do the work. Because I don't think if he wants to volunteer to do the work, then baby, you don't want to go gray. You don't want to go gray. You don't want to do that to yourself.
Yeah, Derwin, I remember we talked about this a couple episodes. It's like in your relationships now, you want somebody that has emotional stability. You don't want somebody that is not able to understand your hurt in the time, their emotions in that time, and just be able to be like very.
I need you to be able to communicate them.
Yeah,
I can be a very cold person emotionally. I may not always share everything emotionally, but I know how to articulate those things when the time is necessary. And I think if you cannot find the words, then unless you're dating like a trained professional. How are they gonna be able to accurately see into all these things that are going on? You gotta open your mouth. You gotta use your words, baby. I say this all the time, probably more than I should, and annoy my partner because I'm like, what did that mean? Use your words. Open your mouth.
You gotta push. You do have to push because it's like when we say I'm fine, I'm good.
I don't mean anything by that. But the thing is that really what you meant? And I always try to do this thing. I'm like, is that really what you meant? Because that's not how you said it. So and so then you reset. And I'm like, next time I need you to say it like this because what you said was something different. And some people are literal. I'm a very literal person, and niggas are very literal sometimes. But they just take shit at face value. So you got to use your words to say what you mean the way you say it. And I'm very conscious of that. So that's why sometimes you may feel like I'm saying it the dummy's way, but exactly the way I feel and what I mean.
Yeah.
Say what you mean and mean what you say. One of my favorite phrases.
I live for that, bitch. You got to be transparent at this point.
Words exist for a reason, and there's so many ways and so many nuances that you can use them in. And I think that, you don't have to be a freaking wordsmith, but if you know how you feel at some point, you can get around to explaining it to someone.
Yeah, but niggas, we can be a wordsmith when we want to get that box. When we want to get what we want to get, bitch.
Now when they want to get the box.
When I want to get that box, bitch, I can tell you every algebraic formula if I need to.
You know it.
Okay. But if you are asking me how I'm feeling today, bitch, I don't even know what 2 + 2 is. Because that is a whole nother conversation. But if I want this raws, bitch, I'm about to be doing long division, and I'm gonna show you that I can. Now can I eat? Now can I fuck? But we pick and choose though, and I think that's the thing is.
Oh yeah,
we pick and choose.
The selectivity irks
Mr. Selective
irks my spirit. It tries me because my thing is I need you to be committed to the same percent every day, and I'm gonna call it out.
Yes. Listen, I'm Mr. Selective. I can admit that. That's my tag.
That was your episode, Mr. Selective.
That was me. Listen, all of your episodes, I want to say you are very intentional with the concept of your seasons and also your guests too. So I want to shout that out. When I listen to it, I specifically go to what I have been able to identify with, and some that I'm like, borderline. And I listen to it and I'm like, damn, that was my fuckboy tendency.
Be able to jump in, yeah.
And I appreciate that. Do you I know you talked about you're very intentional with the blackboard and the whiteboard and all that, but with your guests, do you already have to have some relationship to know their experiences in that category, or is it just something that happens?
So season 1, I knew all the people, but I think sometimes knowing people, they don't always give their best self on
Yeah.
a show, or sometimes, like dealing with artists. You guys have had like guests by now, like tons of guests by now. So like guests are just weird and it's fickle. Yeah, it's just fickle because
I'm
sometimes you can
sorry.
come, because
Yes.
sometimes you can come there. Sometimes a guest can come there with their set agenda, and sometimes a guest can come there thinking, okay, this is where I'm gonna be at. And I think with fuckboy problems, people let the name get in the way of the message, because it's really not salacious. It's really not
Yeah.
anything like that at all. But I don't know why people think that that's like where it's gonna go. Like it's gonna be like ghetto, like oh, it's just gonna be about the drama, and we're gonna be like man, like like bashing your exes. That's like the least of the conversation. But yeah, with the guests, um, for season 1, I knew all of them. Season 2, I will say, well, season 2, about half of them I knew. Some of them were actually kind of like reconnections. So like Hassan, me and Hassan actually worked together, but we were never actually friends. We were just kind of like associates, kind of like out on like the outer rim of like knowing each other, like third level connections on LinkedIn, for like reference. That's people you
Oh
just kind
damn.
of like,
Yes.
I was just saying, like that's a great way to put
Yeah.
it. People know it real easily. But what this show did, but I was watching him, I was watching his thing, and what a lot of people know is like I like push myself to grow. So I made myself join Twitter to like go out and find other people and see other stories and like do all
Yeah.
this. So I was and that's why season 3 is like so good, because all your Twitter faves. Um,
I'm excited.
so it season 3 was more like people who were like associates, people who had just great stories. So like my producer, he goes and brings me like lists, and sometimes they're people I know, and I reach out personally and we'll have a conversation. But I already have my story arc of all the stories I want to tell. So actually they choose how they want to enter into the show. It's actually not me. So I just tell them like pick your top 3, and then from there we have conversations about kind of what the experiences are, and then I now know enough about like the show and the listeners and what kind of stories I want to tell to be like, hey, nah, that's not gonna work, or be like, this is really juicy, but are you gonna want to really like do the work? Like one person season 1, he broke down, he was crying. I forgot the name of the episode right now. But yeah, like you had shit all on your floors. Like he was talking about getting cheated on, and he was coming home to shit on the floors, and you got beat up, and y'all caught the cops and all this, and it was just a lot for you, but you were still in it.
Yeah.
So we have conversations like that where like I'd be like, okay, but are you gonna be ready to go there with this? This might not be time for you. Which we've done that with one person like Philip. Another story he was gonna tell, Philip Michael. I was like, no, don't do that story. Do something else because you're not ready yet. But it's a mix between like people I know, people I don't know, people who maybe I've like seen and we passed each other. Yeah, not Pal, sorry, Philip. In this season, Pal was just at my house. We was just shucking and job. We was just shucking and jiving for the 4.
Come on.
I love Pal so much.
Yes, he's gonna be making me something for season 3. You see, he made he made my do-rag for the finale. It's sitting right here, looking at me now.
You put a lot of work and intention into your episodes and your podcast, and I really appreciate it. I want to just like highlight that, like listening to it. And the concept is not just like you're very intentional, and you also are allowing your guests to choose, how vulnerable and how intimate you want them and how they can be in those spaces, which is it makes great content, and I really want to appreciate that because I listen to them and I'm like, you take it with care, and it is like your literal baby. And I appreciate that every entry, even from like the promo pictures, you take pictures, you have a producer. Like I'm like, this is not just a day in the park, bitch. It is work for him, and I appreciate you put that time. Podcasting is not just a walk in the park.
It's not easy. I think even getting your podcast online, I always tell people, I've been trying to help people. Like that's why I said like my finale, I really want to help Matthew. I feel like I'm in a place where I'm kind of like growing. I have my thing figured out, so I want to like share and like support others. I'll say I want us to stay connected and nurture our relationship. But I put a lot of energy into it, but like this whole podcast, like I just asked my best friend, like he had these skills and these talents, and I was like, you have an amazing attention to detail. Like, do you want to do this? Now season 3, Meg Sunga, I think she's gonna be producing the show. She's an amazing producer of some other great podcasts. So I think she'll be producing the podcast this season to allow my best friend to just be my best friend. But yeah, like I'm really excited. Like I said, I think it's really great. I think it's
It
cool. I
is.
love it.
It
But
is.
I love it. It's a lot of work, but it's
Yeah.
cool.
So in the vein of the title of your podcast, let's talk about fuckboys for a second. Um,
Yes.
I'm like, yes.
do
Let's
you
talk about my
think
children.
do you think that the media or people's general perceptions make us feel like somebody's being a fuckboy? Like, are we basing how we assess people off of what the media shows us?
Right, because if sorry.
Now, see, I don't.
Okay.
Now, this is only because one thing I really tried to do in season 2 was ask people how do they define a fuckboy? Because
Nice.
the whole idea of this was it is a fuckboy is supposed to be like season 1. I had this whole thing. I was like this oh so elusive, like a chanteuse, like this like mystical like
Oh,
thing that
that's
you
right.
cannot find. Like that's what it's supposed to be, like this like thing you look up in the Urban Dictionary. Like that's what I wanted a fuckboy to be, not actually like attached to gender. It was supposed to be like this wild creature in the woods you can't find, like a woolly mammoth. So
Like,
it
the
was
fuck?
so the whole idea of this is that everybody's like thing like about a woolly mammoth, everyone's story is different. Everyone's like, oh yeah, what it is different.
Yeah.
So no one definition is the definition. It's your definition of what a fuckboy means to you. So, but what we found was there are some resounding things that are the same. Manipulation, not caring for others, like a lack of those things. Those are the core things that tie us all together, that tie our journeys together, that create this kind of connection. No matter where you are, you can meet a stranger and say, oh yeah, bitch, you met a fuckboy. We can say 1, 2, 3 things, and oh
Yep.
yeah, there you go.
Fuck boy.
Boom. Got
Yeah.
it. Yeah, but other than that, all the other pieces don't matter. And honestly, isn't that what humans are? We're all humans
Right.
at the core. All these things make us the same. And it's the nuances, all this other stuff that we dress up that make us different.
Yeah.
But a fuckboy is a fuckboy. I think past like those definitions, like all the other things are like intrinsic to you. And I think it just allows that space, like allowing people to define it just allows that space for it to be like, oh, okay, it's what I see it as. But they usually say a lot of the same things.
Yeah, I think that is important as well to understand. Like a fuckboy is something is specific and detailed for you. Like for example, somebody that may like cheat on you or do some infidelities, that may not be a fuckboy to you. That may not. There may be some levels. You might think there's some understanding, but to me, that might be my fuckboy. To you, yours might be somebody that just doesn't communicate when you're around.
Yeah, everyone has different limits.
And I want people to understand that, because in like media, you see media and you be like, oh, he's cheating, he's not the best. It's like, girl, like,
yeah,
sometimes
that's why season 1 we went through all those fuck boys, like people, because I wanted to kind of like carry out like, okay, it's not just this person that did this. I want to carve out kind of like these types of behaviors, like what are they doing. And that's actually why, shout out to my producer, that's actually why we created Fuckboys in the News, to show people the characteristics. So like when you hear me pick out like stories, what you hear me talk back is, oh, they did this thing, they did this. So I'm teaching you these behaviors are what makes them a fuckboy, not all this other riffraff, because they could have cheated, they could have lied, they could have embezzled, all this shit. But these are the kind of behaviors that we kind of think, make a fuck boy. And then also like for other people to be like, okay, well, like you may think this is this.
Right. I want to go into this conversation of intimacy, and not just like a romantic part, but like a platonic thing. Do you feel that intimacy like plays a part in your relationships in general? Like is that the deal breaker if like someone is not able to be, and intimacy in our terms is not just like physical, right? It's emotional, it's mental, it's spiritual. Like does that play a part in your everyday relationships?
I think for me, it's kind of nuanced, because I think like my relationships kind of like orbit me, kind of like in different rings of closeness. So I have like a certain level of like associates and friends, I feel like on a certain professional level, where like I feel like we're close and there's a certain level of connection. But you may not know like my day to day or my personal to past a certain point. And then there are people who are like closer, who like we could have conversations, we could talk about things that are going on. I don't know. I just think like intimacy is a very different thing and it's difficult, but I think reciprocity is, excuse me, the name of the game.
Mm.
I think what I found
Mm.
in what I don't like, I think if you look at LA versus New York, I think in New York, there's an intimacy in space just because it's such small spaces.
Yes.
So when you're at a house party, like, and you're having a conversation with this person and you get to know them, you're in this tight space and you chose to stay in this small space. So that was
Yeah.
kind of like you all's both like green light, to get to know each
Yeah.
other as friends, whatever. Whether it's in LA, I think some people are fine with a certain level of like kind of like inauthentic intimacy, where like you want to feel like me whenever you enter a space, but you don't actually ever want to feel like you have a relationship with me, or like
Mm.
you just want to
Ooh.
be like, okay, we cool, we know each other. You want to be like, oh yeah, I know him, or I think in LA, like that's like a lot. I should even remove it from LA. I think some people like that level of intimacy where you just want to be connected. You don't want to actually have any investment past that. And
Mm.
I think there are also some friends, like I had a friend who is the complete opposite of that. If they don't know your blood type, you're not really friends. I had a friend
Oh,
who like
bitch,
I
damn.
was
Hold on.
yeah, like no, I had a friend who like, and I also learned how you can demote a person and you don't
Mhm.
have to completely remove a person from your life.
Mhm.
So that person, they're demoted and we can connect. You can see me on, you can see me on social media. We talk via my DMs on Instagram. I'm
Yeah.
on their close friends. They're not on mine. I don't believe in close friends. My close friends are my close friends. I text them.
Period.
But that's just my attitude.
Oh, no, I get
Um,
that.
but yeah, so like, yeah, like we talk or whatever, but they felt like, okay, if you did not tell them all the details of the story, like let's say, like I said, okay, like, yeah, like I'm at home today, or like, yeah, I came back home from work. And I'm like, yeah, my job told me to go home. Okay, that was my story. I told you my job told me to go home. You don't know my job told me to go home for 10 days, 30 days, don't return, collect, pass go, collect $200. Like, they need to know every single term of that contract that I collected severance. And if I shared it with another friend, like in different detail, or maybe my best friend who I share, like, okay, like, yeah, they gave me severance and they told me not to come back. Like,
Yeah.
in great detail where I felt safer, maybe,
Yes.
you know this person felt like,
Yeah.
okay, that is not, that is me lying because I'm withholding all of the truth of the situation. So I think intimacy is a very difficult thing when you don't understand the terms that each one of you are kind of entering into the situation, or like dealing with each other on. So I think it's always good to know, like, hey, I was very transparent. I'm like, hey, I'm trying to make friends, or hey, I'm trying to do this, or no, like I want to get to know like creatives or whatever. I think that also kind of like encourages and begets the level of intimacy or kind of connecting in a way that you want, being transparent about what you're looking for, looking to get out of it.
Mm. Do you in your own experiences, do you find that you get a consistent type of fuckboy, or that it's like a new one presenting himself or themselves each time?
I cannot say that I have been fuckboy that much.
Oh,
I have actually
delightful.
been. Well, I don't think it's delightful because think about all the other people that I fucked over.
Right. So what you are, the
Right,
question was,
right. I am
motherfucker,
the
were you
proud.
the
Well, we already know that. I'm Mr. Fuck. I'm Mr. Fuckboy Problem.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
the issue. I
We
would say like a
yes.
consistent. I can't say that I met like a consistent person, but what I will say is you see consistent behavior.
Mm.
I believe whenever a person is being a fuckboy, you can tell what they're doing. You can tell that, okay, like this is an issue and this is just who they are by when it repeats in a cycle. Like what will say, like there was a dude or whatever. He will always say like, okay, like, yeah, like when we first like connected or whatever, we're not gonna talk about whether God was blessed with connection. But yeah, the kid would be like, yo, like, yeah, I like you, I want a relationship, I want this shit. Everybody wants a relationship, right? But
Girl, I
then
don't know
like
what
you
that
get the
means.
digits. I don't know, right? So I always give people the bat phone, or like my work line and not the bat phone.
I got
So
two,
you have like,
bitch.
yeah, so you have the work line and you have the bat phone. You have the bat phone, you can get Sailor Moon anytime you need. I can save the day. Not everybody got access like that. So like, yeah, so like I give this kid like my work phone, and what do? As soon as you get this number, you send a nude. But you just said you wanted a man. You didn't say you wanted to get you didn't say you wanted to get some dick.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm like, all right, so I don't need to respond to you.
Period.
Period. Like, yeah, but I just think I just think it's interesting. I think a lot of times I think fuckboys make that mistake. So then when we reconnected again, the kid does the same thing. When we actually was in my same city. We hang out. He's talking about, oh yeah, I'm not about that shit. Da, da, da. We hang out. You have like a couple of like margaritas or whatever you call them things. What do you call them? Little thought juice. What is it?
Yeah.
Lime margaritas.
Oh yes, those are
Not
child.
margaritas, sorry, the lime margaritas or whatever, the thought
I
juice or
love a good
whatever.
limerita.
Dude had like one thought juice, and then you're trying to like jump my bones, and then you want me to fuck you raw, and I'm like, all right, wow, choices. Um, yeah, so I don't know, like there's no credibility in your statement. So then the next time you do these same things, so now I'm like, okay, like this is a habit now.
Yeah.
Dude, like there was this dude or whatever, like you talk all this stuff or whatever, like you want to do this, and then you send me a dick pic, like out of nowhere. No one
Girl, they
wants a
love
random
that.
dick.
Girl,
I
they
don't
love
know what kind of,
that.
but see, that also speaks to the type of caliber of person that you dealt with, and that was like a
Yeah.
really good thing. Like my best friend, he put me on this, and it hurt my feelings at first, but then it stopped hurting my feelings when I shifted and changed who I was. He was like, they only do that because they think they can.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's the problem.
Or that, and then I'll tell you the other half of that though. This is the other half that people don't say. They only do that because they think they can, or that's all they deal with.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the piece that they leave
That's
from
true.
that statement, because the first half of that makes you feel like you are in that same box. No, that just means someone may have tried to put you in that box. And what you allow, what you will accept, that all makes a difference. So I think it's just peeping the shit and then moving. You know, people don't walk what they talk. And you
They
know, if
don't.
they are, you'll see it. Cause see, this man right here, he asked me, did I want to see the movie The Photograph? I said, yeah, I had seen the commercials or whatever. You know, East of the Little Love was cute, whatever. I was like, that's nice. He was like, do you have a Valentine? I was like, no. And then he was like, well, can I be a Valentine? I was like,
You opened the
sure. This
door up.
man,
You opened the door.
he did. And this man was like, well, I don't live in the same state as you. He was like, can I still take you out on a date? Can I still take you to see it? I said, sure. I got a flight confirmation. He showed up. He took me out to see his movie. This man crossed
Nice.
states.
Nice.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
What you deserve. I mean, it is like, be about your
Put up for-
shit. Come on, show
Yeah,
us
I
how.
mean, you put up for you shut up. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, you know, just be about what you talk about. That can be
Certainly.
big or small.
Certainly.
Well, Justin, thank you so much for being with us
you
today.
all.
We have so many stories with you right now. Like, I appreciate all the like stories and the transparency that you gave us. I'm just like, girl, I know so much about my tendencies, also other people's tendencies and what to look for.
Yeah, because
So
I had
I
to ask
really, really,
myself. I was like, girl, you're a fuck woman. I had to text.
I think everybody, I want to be I think when we wrapping up, I think everybody has or has experienced themselves fuckboy tendencies. It's about acknowledging that.
Yes.
It's about acknowledging that and like being like, okay, let me try to get away from it. So
You know
You
it.
can just choose not to do it. I think if you just gain a level of self-awareness
Yeah.
to be
yes.
like, hey, why, ask yourself, this is one thing I tell you. Ask yourself, why are you doing this right now? Is
Yeah.
it because, you know, I actually genuinely want to fuck?
Yeah.
Or do I want company? Or am I lonely? Have I had a
Yes.
bad day? Just answer that question honestly with yourself,
Yeah.
so you can make sure that you're moving, you know, in alignment with your spirit, with what your goals are. And honestly, that's
All
half
about
the battle.
intention. It's all about intention.
It is. Well, Justin, let the listeners and viewers know last minute. I know you mentioned it, but like at the end, what is next for you and when is season 3 of Fuckboy Problems coming if you know their date yet?
Yes. Okay. What's next for me is, like I said, I'm launching my own YouTube channel. You guys can just go ahead and subscribe. If you go to my link tree, it's linktr.ee/Justin Rayne, JustinRayne. Is all one word. You guys can get all my social medias there, all that good stuff. Or you can just go to my Instagram. The link is there too, at Justin.Rayne. That is launching, like I said, next week. Like I said, I'm doing a skincare giveaway with Target. If you follow me on TikTok at Justin.Rayne, that ends on July 21st. All you have to do is just comment and follow me on TikTok to enter to win like a really cool gift bag from Target. It's a really pretty tote. It's like canvas.
Come on.
With the little bag on. It's like 4 amazing skincare products, and you also get my merch from Fuckboy Problems. And
Nice.
season 3 of that will be dropping at the end of September. I don't have an actual date yet, but I know it's gonna be the last week of September, probably that Monday, because I always release episodes on Monday. But that's it, I think, for now. And you guys can also catch me on the panel with Maddie Rants as a guest on Sundays. Sometimes I'll pop up in there, and then you never know. There's a lot of other cool stuff coming out, and yeah.
Yes. Well, where can they follow you at? That's we need. Where can they follow you?
Yeah, they can follow me on Instagram at Justin.Rayne, on TikTok at Justin.Rayne, on Twitter at Rayne, RAYNE_Justin. Like I said, you can find all the links at linktr.ee/JustinRayne. You can find the socials there too, so you can find anything and everything you want right there.
Yes, and of course, you all can follow us on our platform and our social medias. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at _LordEvery. That is _LORDEVERY.
And you guys know you can find me on Instagram at Derwin King. That's DERWINKING. And on Twitter at Free Negro. That's FREENEGREAUX.
And if you all would like to continue to follow the podcast as information, you can hit us up on Instagram and Twitter at ThatBlackBoyJoy. If you would like to write in and be a guest on the show, you can also hit us up at our Gmail account at ThatBlackBoyJoyPodcast@gmail.com. And you also can watch our videos of our podcasts on YouTube as well at ThatBlackBoyJoy. And I actually want to leave with a different little quote that I say at the end that I actually got from one of your, I think the most latest episode, Justin, is don't let your past, shame, and fear cripple you. I wanted to leave with that because that is very honest in this space. And I think that is in relationships as well. So I want to leave with that. And, Derwin, do what you do best. Bye.
I'm talking about the